So for those who don't know me, I'm Sheriff Darrell Daniels. If you live in Clay County, I'm your sheriff. My little portion here will be more life lessons and maybe something to get you to think about your future and think about where you're headed in life and what your purpose for your existence actually is. I believe that men and women, they grow up as kids and they are placed on earth for a reason. I don't think that anybody's life is by happenstance and that you just came into existence just because two people came together in union and formed you as a child and you grew up for no purpose. I believe that everybody is born for a reason. Understanding what your reason is in life is the challenge that some people package in a question called, what is the purpose of life? And for each individual, that is different. The response is different on what is the purpose of life. But my question to you is, and this is something for you not to answer right now, but I want you to give some thought to, and this is not just for you young ladies and you young men, but this is for everybody. And that is, why was I born? Why was I born, and what was I born to do? What was I placed on earth to do? You know, if I ask that question to a criminal, would that criminal say, I was placed on earth to be a bad guy? Would that person say, I was placed on earth to be a burglar or to break into cars or to steal cars or to murder or do things that society here in this country would call bad things? I would think that they probably would say no. And on the flip side of that, you ask somebody who's very successful, what is the purpose for their life and why were they placed here? They may have a very different answer. So I'll hit you with these two questions. They're very direct, but there's a book that I cherish very dearly in my life that has a bunch of wise sayings and a lot of stories in it. And there is a portion that says it speaks to out of the mouths of babes. And out of the mouths of babes means that young people don't have the filter or baggage in life, and they will give you answers that are very truthful and heartfelt. And so out of the mouths of babes comes the very essence and purity of truth itself. So my question is, if a bad person does a good thing, are they a bad person or are they a good person? The question was, if a bad person, there is no wrong answer here. So y'all are safe. You could say something absolutely crazy and that won't be a wrong answer. You know why? Because it's your opinion. And your opinion matters in this setting. Your opinion may not matter throughout every interaction that you have in life, but in this setting, where we're trying to stimulate your intellectual capital and increase that intellectual capital and get you to thinking about your future and where you're going in life, your opinion matters. If a bad person, the answer is in the question. If a bad person does a good thing, does that make that person good or bad? Speak to it. So, all great answers, but I like yours. Amara, I don't even think I can summarize that. But Amara said, one good thing does not erase all of the bad that person has in their life. They are still a bad person. They just so happened to have done a good thing. I flip the other side of the coin. If a good person does a bad thing, is that person good or is that person bad? Why is that? The answer was good.
Because in order to be a good person, you have to make sure that you're making the right decisions and making the right choices over and over.
Out of the mouths of someone younger than me, children, young men and young women are pure, unfiltered, unadulterated answers to the questions of life. And so in that response, Kelly was talking about a consistent track record of good behavior makes a person good, and if they make a mistake, they are still a good person. And Raina said, no one is perfect. However, there are people in society that will place other people on such a high pedestal that they believe that this person or persons or these people should function in an arena or landscape of perfection. What? Say it. Say it. Because people judge people. That's true. People do judge people. We all make judgmental decisions and we formulate opinions about people based on what we see. But people will judge other people. I make judgments about people myself. But I have learned in 54 years two things. One, never think more highly of yourself than you ought to. Never think more highly of yourself than you ought to. Because the very moment when you think of yourself being up here, you will do or say something to disappoint yourself. And you may have heard this before, but I'll put it in the words of a well-known philosopher from the 1000 BC. And he said, you ain't all that. That was a joke. What I was saying, but what I mean is, if you place yourself on a pedestal, you're really not any different than anybody else in life. You just have, in your mind, placed yourself up here and made everybody else be down here. On the flip side of that, you can't put yourself so far down that you don't have the high standards that Raina was talking about. And you'll go through life never meeting your potential because you have placed yourself, I guess, under the table, if you will, in society, in your mind. And a wise person who I live with, she said, a man, it's not just men, human beings are only prisoners in their own mind. What does that mean? What does that mean? Your biggest enemy is right here. The limitations that you place on yourself are right here. They may not naturally exist, but in your psyche, you limit yourself and you limit your own potential if you say, I don't think I can do that. I can't do that. Well, you've already defeated yourself. But these are just life questions that we sometimes ask ourselves. You said, Raina, that nobody's perfect. Are you sure? I heard some doubt. She said, I'm positive. Nobody's perfect except God. Well, I agree. I live by that rule. And there is nobody who's ever breathed air who has lived a life of perfection. Nobody in this room, nobody who views this video, nobody that you've ever interacted with, not your mother, your father, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-greats, and all those other people, your neighbor, your teacher, your pastor, all of them are imperfect people. Would you agree? I don't know how these young ladies and young men were selected, but my goodness, whatever the selection criteria was, that we need to keep that. Because y'all are blowing my doors off right now. Okay, so no one's perfect. We're all on equal footing in that area, yes? When we thought we were deep and hit bedrock, Talon just busted through the bedrock and went deeper. And I like it. I do. He drilled it down. That's good. That's very deep. So, good night, man. So, I'll hit you with something else. So if everybody's imperfect and flawed, right? We try our best. We try our best to do our best. Even though we are flawed, we do have an obligation in this life, flawed or not, to do the best that we can to improve society, improve ourselves, and improve the lives of the people that we interact with. Yes or no? You think we have a duty to do that?
Yes. Yes.
You're kind of floundering. You got another thought on it?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. There are two types of flawed people, in my opinion. You may say, no, there's a third or fourth or fifth. This is my opinion now. There are people who are flawed, will lie about the fact that they're flawed and say that they're not, and they point out everybody else's flaws as if they don't have any. That's one. You call it what you want. A hypocrite. Some people call them Pharisees back in the old days. They are people who look at me. On the exterior, I got it all together. But inside, I know the truth, but I don't want you to know the truth. I'm perfect. And they walked a certain way. They carried themselves a certain way. And on the outside, if someone didn't know them, they'd go, wow, that person, Jessica has it all together. Look how she carries herself. Perfect posture, perfect diction in her speech, the way she carries herself, the way she walks, everything about her speaks to her superiority over humanity. That's that person. Then there's the other type. They are the type who make mistakes, are flawed, imperfect, whatever you want to call it. They acknowledge it, try to, I think I heard it from this side of the room, learn from their mistakes and push forward in life. And they are that much better for having done so.